Hope Channel, changing lives.
Good evening and welcome to the Law Chamber, where legal matters are discussed from a Christian perspective. My name is Anita Delight and this is definitely the Law Chambers. I'm sad. Why? This is a final episode. Can you imagine? We started from 1 and now we are already at 10. I'm saying 10. We do 10 and so there's the final episode for season 3. God willing, season 4 will be somewhere next year, early next year, very early next year. Don't worry, we'll not go for a very long break. So, so far we've been discussing about companies, businesses, which type of company to look out for, which type you should go into, which one you shouldn't think about it if you're not so sure. Naming of your companies, intellectual properties. We've discussed insolvency. If you realize, really, that you are going under, you don't need to wait and go under. There are people who can help you manage your company for it to stay afloat. So we've discussed so many things. And I do know for a fact that you've learned something, anything, right? You've learned something. So, as I said, I'm sad, but we'll still go ahead. Our topic for today, doing business in Ghana, corporate Ghana, and business ethics. The idea is the business just about making money? Does a business owe anyone any responsibility? The society, the community they find themselves in? Or are they supposed to do anything they want to do? And with business ethics, what comes to mind is does anything go? So far, does the end justify the means? That is. So far as you are making money, it doesn't matter the ethics, it doesn't matter if you are lying, it doesn't matter. Because every business is to make money, no? That's what we've discussed today. And I have two very, 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 very important lawyers here. And they're going to help me do justice to this particular topic. And so, as usual, we are live on Facebook, on YouTube, on LinkedIn. You go to the Law Chambers Ghana, the link is there. Everything we've done so far this season, and all the previous seasons is there. You can watch it. And you can share now. Share very, 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 very important to me, please. Share and share and share. And call that person to call another person. Why? Because you now frame and I'll be some questions. Now you are talking to me as a lawyer. You'll be paying big time. So please, I don't do pro bono again. So please listen and understand. If you have any question whatsoever, you can send it to our Facebook link down there, or you can send it to 0559 680066. 0559 680066. Please send it now. Don't wait until the end. We might forget. You understand? Send it now. So let me introduce my guest. So, the only gentleman in our midst, he goes by the name Godwin Selassie Dakpo. I hope I got the name right.
You got it so right.
Dakpo. Hey, right. Star player. You see, a star player. He's a lawyer. He's a managing attorney of the law office of Eliza Kumadi. Hey, wow. The law office of Eliza Kumadi. But the most important thing is he specializes in corporate commercial land disputes, ADR, corporate and business advisory transactions. So you can see the corporate and business advisory. This is his field, right? He started his law profession from AB and David Africa. I say AB and David, it's kind of nice. He used to be the national president for Global Evangelical Students and Associates Ministry. He's a member of the Gasu Fund Board of Trustees of the same organization, president of the Law Christian Fellowship of KNOST, and the vice president of the Law Christian Fellowship of Esho. Currently, he's a vice president of the Global Evangelical Students Association Ministry front. He's a chairperson of that same association, Professional Groups Supervisory Committee, and he's a director for company secretary of a number of construction companies in Ghana. So when it comes to company secretary for construction,
so any issue about corporate and secretarial services and how they interrelate with the law, all of that.
Oh, Charlie, so I come up for the simple. What did you just say? Because frankly speaking, I don't understand what you said.
So companies, and when it comes to their secretariat matters,
okay,
anything having to do with the secretary administrative concerns of the company, how that relates with the law, how the requirements of law expect the company to operate administratively in business, all of that is an area of focus on.
Okay, so like the board, like this, you be their secretary, you be helping them.
Yes, you're required to file annual returns to comply with companies' acts. If you are just a business person who is not a lawyer, you don't appreciate all of those things. But as a company secretary who is a lawyer, you get a good assistance from a lawyer.
Simple. And I think the company has also specified it should be a lawyer or chartered accountant.
Yes, lawyer. Yeah,
so
yes.
It helps. So is it the national president or national vice president?
I'm almost a pastor.
Oh, that's nice.
You know, I spent my early days on campus doing full-time ministry as a student. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Are you married?
Not yet.
Okay. So, you have a Sofomami to be, or you are looking for a Sofomami to be?
I have a Sofomami to be.
Simple crash. Yes. Yes, and I have a very pretty, no, she's not pretty, she's beautiful. A very beautiful lawyer with me. Nine. Ah, my idea. Nine in Kumsa. Sapo. She's a lawyer with AB and David Africa. She's an HR practitioner, human resource practitioner. So that's why one of the reasons why she say, right? Very, very important. She has a BA in management and psychology from UG, Alma Mater, MBA in human resource management from GIMPA, and the Bachelor of Laws too from GIMPA. Then she went to Ghana Law School, and she has a certificate in international arbitration. She's a member of the Chartered Institute of Human Resource Management Ghana and the Academy to Innovate HR. She has over 13 years of experience when it comes to HR, whether in waste management, banking, finance. She's been there. She practices corporate commercial law, litigation, arbitration, employment and labor law, intellectual property, and African trade. She enjoys playing golf, listening to music, watching movies. Golf, sika for profession. Sika for game. I just take back over to be talking. You are welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So
so
tell
much.
us something about yourself. Like, what tickles you?
Well, I enjoy doing a lot of things, not necessarily just law. Yes, I like to motivate the young, especially girl child.
Okay.
I am very passionate about it. There have been situations where I have been part of some programs for my people. You know, I am the Ghana Dangbi.
Okay.
Yes, so I have been interested in doing some things for them. And then the golfing, I really like it. It's very nice.
It is?
Yes.
You look at a hole and then you be doing this and then...
You have to qualify it.
Anyway, we'll talk about that later. So let me zoom in. But before then, please, my sign language interpreter, as you know, Atanya Meche. Ata. The final season. Yeah. Of which one is serious, personal. All right, so now let's start. When we talk about corporate social responsibility, what does it mean? Like, what do we mean by that?
Okay, so let's get it from this perspective.
Okay.
Now, when we talk about corporations or corporate entities, they are companies that are established to do business. So these guys are out there seeking to make profit from their business. And that is the reason they were established by law. But society expects certain things of them. Maybe you produce gas, and the same environment you produce the gas, you are polluting it. Society expects you to be concerned about the harm you cause society. So if you take a responsibility to help society by taking portions of your income to sort of resolve the harm created by your company, then you are socially responsible. And by that, you have incorporated social responsibility in your business profile. Then you are engaged in CSR.
Oh, okay. So what if I'm not causing any harm? Then it means I shouldn't do anything?
Yes, so you are not going to intervene when you cause the harm. We have many, things in society that are require help of the government, individuals, and corporations. So it could be harm created by your company or by other company or by persons who are not even companies or by the economic, deficiency we have in the country or government gaps or inability of government to be able to help the needy. If you are able to, then you can step in to help. So it's an intervention program by a company to support society.
But you said the business is supposed to make money. Why will I want to intervene as a business? That will decrease my profit. What is it?
Yeah, so there's a history behind it.
Okay.
History tells us that somewhere in the 20th century, companies were becoming too big, too powerful, and too influential. And, even in our age, you could see companies are so big. You could talk about Elon Musk. This guy has a company that many people have subscribed to his ideology. You could even tell there are billions who subscribe to, say, X as a concept or a business idea than people who subscribe to religion as a concept. So they are powerful. Should they still remain people who are just making business and becoming too powerful? Society kept giving pressure on them. Government is not even able to make income to support, to build a road, for example, to create, facilities for people to society. And you are making money just distributing and becoming big and influential. So the pressure compelled them to want to help society.
Oh, okay.
So this is the history behind it. So they've taken upon themselves to be part of the solutions that the society needs.
Okay,
and that is where the idea came from.
Do we have any laws, strictly speaking, that really encourages these companies to act?
Well, we don't necessarily have general laws that affect all companies, but we have some that affect certain companies depending on the industries they are operating in. But you can say that there are some subtle pushes to corporate bodies to act in a socially responsible manner. And in fact, before I even tackle this matter, you notice that you said that companies are supposed to be making money, and that's it. But I think that if a company is even making money and paying its stakeholders or shareholders, that in itself is the economic responsibility they have when it comes to CSR. Because CSR is in a pyramid. Because I agree with Archie Carroll when he says that CSR has 4 levels in a pyramid. That it starts with the economic, then after that you go to the legal responsibility you have, you go to the ethical responsibility that you have, then you do the philanthropy. Okay, and all these...
Philanthropy is just one?
Yes, yeah. It's just one.
Yeah.
You see, but the other ones, if you ignore them completely, the company cannot operate well, because if the company is not making money, they can't do the philanthropy you are talking about.
That's true.
They need to make money. So even though they are not general laws that you can talk about pointing to CSR, they are subtle pushes. So for instance, if you look at the way companies, so companies they are regulated generally by the Companies Act. There are some subtle provisions that require directors to add in their report, in their financial statements, any CSR activities they have undertaken. And somebody may look at this and think that, but this doesn't mean anything. But if I am an investor and I pick your financial statements, I look at the director's report and I don't see anything CSR you have done in the whole year, obviously I'll be asking myself the question of whether or not I should invest in you.
Okay.
So for me, even though someone would think it's too subtle a thing, I think that it is not as subtle as we think. And then also, our laws on taxation give some sort of, I would call it, some small exemptions to businesses when they engage in the philanthropy part of CSR because they consider it as deductible amounts before they are able to pay their taxes. I think that these things generally as affect companies, they are sort of subtle, but there is no specific thing. But as I mentioned earlier, you know, there are industries that have or require, like the mining and oil and gas industries, they require companies to make specific payments, royalties and things to the communities where they operate. So generally, we don't. Yes.
So when these young men in the community go on rampage, saying that there's a company in their community and the company is not employing them but employing other people, the company, because of the kind of business the company is into, the company, their cars are spoiling all the roads in the community, so they should really try and help with building of the roads. And you think they have a point?
I think so, because you see,
am I supposed to employ you because you're in my community?
Companies don't operate in a vacuum. Okay, you operate with people investing in you. You operate with processes, services, and products that you churn out, and people buy it. Who tend to be your consumers? You get your materials from suppliers. And all these make up the society in which you're operating. If you're operating in a manner, okay, that is not responsible, you're not giving back to your community. Okay, people are becoming very alert now. Consumers are becoming very savvy. For instance, I would easily buy a product if I know that, or if they have told me that any of the profits they are making, they are going to use to invest.
Like that bottled water.
Yes.
I don't know, in a very subtle way, you feel like buying from them.
You feel like buying.
Because
they
you're
will
contributing.
Yeah, you feel like buying.
I think
so
I get you.
yes, I would.
I get you.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
psychology part of our boy.
Yes.
Yeah, so
yes.
I mean, that is the case. People who, you know, say that companies should not engage CSR have made. They made a case against the concept. That, I mean, companies have used it to rather advertise, rather help society indeed.
It's not bad.
But when I tell
to
you,
do a
I'm
good thing
gonna
and
take-
advertise, I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
Why?
I'm going to tell you, I'll take a pessoa and send to this place because of that. I'm going to sell it, and you would actually come and buy because
I
of
want
the
to buy.
pessoa.
Yes, and it's a commitment
Yeah.
you're making to me because I can hold you up to it. For instance, if I take your financial statement and you have told me you have made this much profit, I can follow up with where you have told me that you invest in and know how much donations you have made to them in a year.
Yeah.
Is it not
And
plausible?
even if I think the GRA can easily...
They can easily do that.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's not your money. Because you said that
Yes.
money is going into something.
And it's yes,
And it's
it goes to your integrity.
psycho.
So, you know, on the subject of whether or not laws really are there to regulate it, to make it mandatory for a company to do it by all means. Like for Ghana, we don't have that yet, like she rightly said. We don't have a legislation established for that. But I recall somewhere 2021, there was a move by 9 parliamentarians from both sides, just this current parliament. They tabled a motion that Parliament should consider enacting legislation to regulate CSR in Ghana.
Good.
Yeah, and people have actually, you know, people fought against it. That no, it was not proper. That's not a practice we should encourage. That minority leader at the time, Haruna Dusu, made a popular statement. People often quote. He said, "You cannot legislate generosity," and that was his argument. You know, opposing such a move. I mean, countries like India have it in their Companies Act that as a company you have to spend at least 2% of your income in the preceding 3 years on CSR activities. UK also has some regulation in the companies that impose obligation on the company to ensure that its operations do not have any negative impact on the community and the environment. For me, that is also CSR concern.
Yeah, that one.
And we have a similar provision in our Companies Act too. So although we don't have a clear legislation that regulates everything, there are some provisions in certain acts here and there that require you to do something done to harm society or to rather advance societal good to be concerned
Why
about.
don't we try and bring all these together in one book form where, because someone will tell you that laws that don't bite, they are useless. So you have everything.
Like someone said, it's generosity, you know. I want to give
No,
you.
there's no generosity.
No,
you
you're
know,
going to
now
force me.
we'll take it out of generosity and say responsibility.
Okay.
Because you are making
mean,
so much money, give back.
I think it's an argument we can push for. and those who support it, for as we speak for it, people are actually against it.
Yeah,
So it depends on who wins the argument.
So what are you thinking about? Are you for or against? You should be for, because Charlie, these people, they are mainly MTN. Look at the money. I'm mentioning MTN in particular because I'm a shareholder there, and the money they make every year, and the money they send me as a shareholder, I almost cried. And I'm like, so after all this, what are they doing for the community?
Easy for CSR.
And
that is the negative side. When you are a shareholder, you're an investor, you put your money there because you want gain.
Of course.
Now they come and tell you, we use 10% of your gain for CSR.
And then you look at the amount of money they've used for CSR. I'm like,
because what is
you
happening?
don't even give me credit.
Yeah. What is happening in some part of Volta region is a great emergency
Exactly.
that requires,
That's what we're
nobody
going
has
to
planned
see.
for it. So they're going to take some profit that's supposed to go to shareholders and say, let's buy certain mattresses, let's buy items for them.
So now let's dive a little bit into what is happening in the Volta region. It's current news and we have to discuss it.
Yeah.
First and foremost, I don't know what VRA was thinking. I actually have no idea of all the nitty-gritty there. But really, the flooding is a no-no. But we are really not seeing VRA step up to take responsibility in any shape or form in terms of CSR. Are we?
Well, whether it is something only them are expected to do is another question.
You all will help, but you are responsible. You see, at the end of the day, if you are responsible for something, I can come and help you. But I cannot take over your...
I mean, VRA will also sit there and be thinking, we are not responsible. I don't know,
You are not responsible. You open the floodgate.
What is the evidence of that?
Oh, the evidence is your water going in someone's property.
That's not enough. That's not how we actually establish evidence in Ghana. You have to be able to.
Cause and effect. You really are going legal cause and effect.
Because, if somebody really thinks that VRA is responsible, the person should take VRA on and prove it against VRA.
Speaking, everyone believes VRA is responsible.
Okay.
But the question is, did they do it for the general good? Electricity and all. We all believe in that theory.
Yeah.
So we are not saying VRA. We said VRA could have done better. You could have alerted them. You could have done a lot of things to prevent this. But after this has happened, shouldn't you be seeing something? I don't know. Corporate social responsibility should kick in a way.
It should. I believe it should. And for me, once an emergency that nobody planned for, people who are in
This
business...
can't be an act of God. This one was deliberate.
Well, it has happened.
It has.
It has happened. I think VRA should also be concerned, as much as every other company or every other individual should be concerned. People from various parts of the country, were going there to help.
Yeah.
And VRA should also actually be showing some concern, because they're in charge of the whole incident. They probably might
Why are you
have done
afraid to say
something.
it?
Might have done something.
They did the something. They're not might have.
A lot of these are technical in nature. I don't
Might
have all the
is-
evidence. All I know
he's
is that
a
somebody
lawyer.
in charge,
He's a
somebody
lawyer.
in charge of the flood or the river didn't take good care of it, and it has entered somebody's house. As simple as it may sound, the truth of the matter is that we all have to be concerned. VRA must also be concerned, and I think
VRA should be leading.
They should be
because
socially
I heard
responsible.
the head of corporate affairs or something. He was saying that we have a state institution that is supposed to do that, and so they are going. NADMO, yeah, and so they are and I'm like, really?
Well, I have heard an interview with one of their big men, and I understand that they have actually devoted some money to it, about some 20 million or so. Yes, but I am not aware
Where's the
of
money?
how, I cannot speak to as to how they are implementing any reliefs that they are organizing for people
So
that
if
are
we
affected.
really did
So-
have an act, and obviously we can, we can link this act with what really has happened. They will have heads who have been rolling by now.
that's true. That's true. I mean, I keep saying everybody wants to blame VRA because they're the ones in charge and responsible for it. But for us, on the subject of CRS, we all need to see that this is an opportunity for companies to be socially responsible.
Oh yes.
When you devote some of your profit to help the people out there, then you are doing what we're talking about, social responsibility
Oh, yes.
as a corporate entity.
Oh yes.
So people could also actually take
People
VRA
are
on
really-
as well.
And people are really helping. I was listening to City FM and
Yes.
the number of companies and
Yes.
I was
people
like,
are-
this is beautiful.
people are- And
I mean,
you see-
shareholders are going to have less this year.
Yeah, you know,
But if I'm a shareholder and I know you are taking my money, I don't have a problem.
Okay.
yeah, for
But
a
my
good
problem
cause.
is the fact that VRA is not leading
It's
this
not-
whole
okay.
thing.
Yeah, but the thing too is that, so for instance, AB and David Africa, we
Mm-hmm.
have made a donation to City FM.
How much?
About 25,000.
Hey,
Ghana
Charlie,
cedis.
That's a lot.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. So that tells you that corporate Ghana is not sitting aloof.
Yeah.
Corporate Ghana is actually doing something in
They
this
are,
regard,
they
and
are.
I am quite impressed
I am too.
with the
Yeah.
help that they are giving to the
Yeah.
victims.
I
So-
had a whole company,
Yes.
Tropical Wise or something.
Mm.
They're going to wire the whole building that's going to be built. I'm like, really?
Yes, yes.
People, everyone is doing
Everyone
something.
is doing
But for
something.
VRA,
No, but you see,
let's continue. I listen to them sometimes when they are speaking. I'm like, they are shifting the goalpost. They blame everyone and everything but
Save
themselves.
themselves.
And I'm like, you can't be a company. Social, anyway. So what are some of the practical ways? Can we mention some of the practical ways companies can really give back to society? Some of the ways.
Okay, so because this is going to be done by a company, as a lawyer, I'm concerned about the procedure,
Okay.
the how.
Okay.
Now, company makes a decision to do things.
Okay.
So the decision of the company is often by its resolution. And there are three organs the company makes a decision by. It could be the members or the shareholders at general meetings, or it could be the managing director, or it could be the board. So either of these organs could make a decision that, you know what, we have seen this thing happen in the community. We have seen this orphanage home. They need this provision. Let's allocate 5% of this income of this year to buy ABCD to help them. Now, we've been part of this community. There's a road that leads to the main road. It has been in the Deplorable state for many years. Let's decide that we're going to have 1% of, our income for 5 years allocated towards it to help government to put it up. These are some of the ways we can be socially responsible as a company. And it will be as little as sometimes, looking at a need of society and coming in to help. It may not always be an emergency, an act of God should happen. It could be, like I spoke about the orphanages, it could be maybe education you want to promote in the community. It could be the school for the community. You could actually get polytanks for them. You could make life better off. You could actually provide security system, build a police station at the area for them. These are some of the ways you could be responsible. There's a police station around the Okadako, and that's how it was built by the company. And it's a very decent police station. That's a company that has decided to expand its operation and said that, you know what, I'm not just going to focus on myself and my business. I'm going to ensure that the environment I'm operating is secure. So I put a police station there.
That's beautiful.
And government provide the personnel to man it. And then you have to help society. So that is socially responsible as a company.
Yeah.
I mean, these are very practical ways we can actually do this.
And then to top up to what Gordon has said, you know that even employing a physically challenged person or disabled person is part of CSR. It is part of CSR because CSR also covers the labor issues.
Yes.
So you have firms that if a disabled person applies, they don't make any arrangements to employ them. They just say, we are not able to employ you at this point. They are not mandated, apart from if you're a public service where you have some requirement to do that. But a private company, you're not. So if you're even creating opportunities for employment for persons with disability, yes.
It's a big deal.
It is a big deal. And because I'm a lawyer, I will even talk about what some of the law firms can do. You see, because things like providing opportunities of interaction with, there are some schools in Ghana, but they're actually in rural areas, in Accra. In Accra, rural. You hear a class 3 or class 4 people read, and you're like, is this person in class 1 or class 2? Creating some opportunities for them, visiting them. And don't forget that when any company allows, or say a firm allows their employees to go and visit such schools, it is paid time. So that in itself is CSR, because I recall that AB and David recently, we had AB and David Africa recently, the firm allowed some of our lawyers to go and interact with community schools. That is a very practicable way of giving back to, it's CSR in itself, because we are focusing on education. And then, you know, law firms too, we do pro bono. They are all CSR.
Yes.
All these things are CSR. And even encouraging your staff to do their own form of CSR as a company. It's very important because you have employees who have some foundations and other things going on the side. If you, the employer, you understand that such an employee should undertake such things and you give them permission to go and do those things. All those things are CSR, and not only just the hardcore going to build schools, those subtle things that you make conscious and deliberate efforts at promoting.
So you don't, some companies will go like, you don't have money, you don't have to wait to have that big money.
No.
Yeah.
Those subtle. I even know of companies where when their national service person starts work, they give them a task that all of you, your national service allowances, you're going to donate, say, 50 Ghana cedis per month towards a project. Go and identify the projects. Come and let's discuss it. By the time they are done with the national service, they would have constructed a classroom block for a school. Wow. Yes. All these are practical ways. Well, you don't need to wait for the big money.
How much is it? So there could be troubles, you know. Someone may say the money is just, you know, if less than 1,000. Now you want me to take a part of it. So you should have legal basis for doing so. So it should be a decision of the corporation. And there's a researcher, Dr. Mavis Amomensa. He reviewed about 61, you know, academic papers in Ghana on CSR. And he concluded that it is a voluntary corporate self-regulated practice. Yes. So that is, it's just a concept that is voluntary, done by companies, they regulate themselves. So it's always an internal policy. So if you want to get an employee's salary to do some of those things, get them to agree. Should be voluntary.
Yeah. So with the persons living with disabilities, it's not just doing them a favor. You really have tax rebates, don't you?
You do.
No, you do.
Or what are some of them?
Yes. So in fact, we should actually look at who a person with disability is in the first place. I think that is oftentimes confused. There's a legislation we have in Ghana, law in Ghana, which is Person with Disability Act 2006. That law defined person with disability to mean a person who, you know, has deficiency either mentally, physically, or in some of the senses organs. It could be the visual one, it could be the sight, it could be hearing. And by reason of these deficiencies, they are limited in certain cultural and normal functional lifestyle. So when you employ someone who cannot see, you don't put him at a place where he has to be seeing the things to do it. Even if he has to be seeing the things to do it, then you need to make provision for their tools that they can use to perceive things without having to physically look at it. So number one, you need to make the environment conducive for them to be able to work. Then you are also doing society a favor by not considering their disability and inability to work. So you employ them, give the opportunity to work, and the government also encourages you by giving you a tax relief for employing such a person.
You get tax reliefs?
On it, you do. In fact, it's actually in two dimensions. The person who is himself a disabled person and engaging in some sort of business or earns an income, either from employment or from business, also entitled to a relief, personal relief on that income. In other words, if he earns, say, 1,000 and is supposed to pay 25% of, maybe 25% of that as tax to the government, government says that we're giving 25% relief. So in a matter you can declare it, but you won't give it to us. You keep it with you.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then to the companies, do they get 25%?
They get 25%.
So why are people not employing persons with disabilities?
It's largely a matter of ignorance. People are not aware. And that is where, for me, I'm excited at what you do here at the Law Chambers with your team. You're educating people about the laws of Ghana. And that is something that is lacking. Imagine yourself a few years back, before you became a lawyer. What did you not know? And the day you got to know things that you knew as a lawyer, you were like, oh, God, people are ignorant indeed.
Yeah.
And some of us have taken to ourselves to educate the public. And we celebrate what we do. So people are not aware. How many people know there are laws for disabilities that outline a lot of requirements to make their life conducive and comfortable in the community?
All things being equal, a building should be accessible.
That is all we know. That's all we know. There's more.
It's not even even accessible.
It's not even accessible. The problem. You know, as a nation, we seem to have beautiful laws that we do not always implement.
So what is business ethics? What is business ethics? When we talk about business ethics, what is it?
This business ethics matter. This matter. Business ethics, it just talks about businesses doing the right things and making decisions using some values they have or some principles of morality. And we all know, the reason I said this business ethics because mostly it's based on morality. And we know that when we go there, it's a very wide area. Who determines what is moral and what is not? So that's basically what it is. That when you're making decisions as a business or as a manager or anybody who is tasked with making certain decisions, how are you making the decisions? And it usually borders on the gray areas, the things that are not legally covered. Because if there is law, definitely you are going to. And sometimes the law even allows you to do certain things, but then you are asking, even though the law allows me to do it,
is it right?
Should I do it? So you find people in dilemmas all the time.
But shouldn't what is right or wrong be dictated by the community? So the community you find out, let's say Ghana, you come and do business in Ghana, and these are our values. So you go with it. Or you try to interpose your culture there, here, and then you force it down. Like, so which of the ethics are we looking at? Are we looking at the country, community within which the business operates, the owners' ethics, personal ethics, religious? How are we looking at it? But there should be, because all things critical. If today business goes to steal, we all know it's wrong. If a business, and those are governed by laws, so we know.
So it's straightforward.
It's straightforward. So let's say a business is not ready to give back, making a lot of money, the whole place polluted like really, and then doing nothing about it, and then we are all quiet. You see, the whole country. Some people are bashing them, of course. Everyone seems to be quiet about it because there's no law propelling them to do anything.
I mean, like she said, the concept of ethics is one that is oftentimes not a one-way issue. When you say morally accepted standard, whose morals and who is accepting it? Who is making it acceptable? Ghanaians, Christians in Ghana, Muslims in Ghana.
The majority.
All kinds
but
of
the
things.
funny thing too is that Christian Muslims traditionalists, we seem to have a lot in common.
Yes.
Morality generally, we seem to have a lot in common.
That is true. You know, and all these things develop over time because of practices. If you've done it over time, society perceives that it is wrong, it is right. Then they take the right one to be an ethical issue. For example, even as a lawyer, which law tells us that when you go to court every day, bow to the judge before you sit down? No law, actually. So there is that practice to respect the courts, be courteous to the judge. So you do it.
See.
And
when
then
you don't do it,
it's like they have a legal basis. They probably have a legal basis to challenge you, you know. And you also just feel bad. And that is what we're talking about. If you are dishonest in business, it's an ethical issue. You may be dishonest and it may not probably amount to
a criminal offense
yet, but it may lead there one day. But before it gets there, society wants to regulate it. Ethical issues are concerned about things that government may not be able to regulate all of them. But as an organization who is concerned about, you know, the best of the company, you want to put certain policies in place to say that as a business, we do not cheat our client. When you walk into our office, a client needs to be addressed or to be attended to. We do not have a call in their presence. Or we don't, some firms will tell
them,
you,
will show courtesy when need be.
Yeah, some firms will tell you that we don't allow clients to come and sit in our reception for more than 30 minutes because we want to respect them and save their time. So some of these are just requirements of ethics. And as a business person, ethics play a big role in your organization. It affects your brand. How people perceive the brand is a collection of the ethics you've accepted, which society also upholds to be best practices.
I think there was this company that I wanted to do business with, and a friend of mine was like, wait, Before
exactly. So there's a perception,
yeah.
but the brand and the
and these
identity.
estate companies too, they'll tell you, oh, I'll fix it, I'll do this, I'll do. By the time you enter there, the things they are fixing, dude, everything is inferior. But they'll tell you, we'll give you the modern standard.
That is it.
Until be that.
Yeah. And the
question, and then they'll go like, the question is, I said I'll give you modern and standard. What is modern? What is standard?
Who defines that?
At their discretion.
Yeah. So it comes back to industrial practices. There are certain industries that some practices are perceived by all, majority I should say, to be the way to go. So they would expect that customers should be given such a treatment. Maybe in the real estate industry, Ghana, unfortunately, we had a very bad reputation of real estate agents, agencies, and all of that. So the good side would oftentimes click when someone tells you, for example, if you are renting a building in Ghana or apartment, you know, the stress you go through, or we are moving here, it's 30 seconds away. And once they get there, it's actually a 30-minute walk.
Yeah.
And then they have a display of apartments on the internet that is looking so beautiful. And you are just interested. When you get there, it's like a baller. I mean, that is just a bad practice. You are not probably committing a crime by putting something there that looks beautiful and then it turned out to be the rubbish side you are not showing me. But it's unethical.
Yeah.
It's unethical. And I can tell people, you see, all ethical wrongs put together can actually have a legal consequence in the law of thought. It all depends on the lawyer who fights it for you.
Yeah.
It can always lead to it.
Yeah.
Because if you put waste of time together,
and all that,
yeah,
because obviously
you lied to me, you wasted my time, I put it together, I lost an income, I lost something, I lost opportunity. You have a claim in law.
Hey! You know what we've discussed so far, no. I did a kind of say, and yet scankwana or beji a business more. As I say, and yet no one is all share. As I was so be bois, baby our year business. What I say, obi unko fu ho no more beti me employer more. Ebi asemu si out me bois. Nye me bi ho no more. Uye, obi ho de iniminsuo bi ono de percentage kakra. Oh, children with heart diseases, a bit of ni ebebre obetimi aye nti onye ska ni bebre sana your business bebre sana far back my society a problem ho na ezo ye ka so say the first your business na onye ska na interest say bibi akọ why say ni me bi ho no ma ye ni enim say na wa oni say na oye na enye wa dwimu no wa ebu for say ade a oye na enye ba obaye efi say obenye ska ye nkọ ne sa nti ni nia ye educate ye ho we be business na bi no anya ma akọ yi ama no nyame say yat no sa nyame ye bi ama na so ye bi ama foforo yen got this short commercial break. We'll be right back.
There are people out there who need Jesus. The only way they are going to be touched is through the power of the gospel. Remember, you are the hands, mouth, and feet of Jesus Christ.
Let's do this together.
The Adventist Church, mission-driven purpose, and Hope Channel brings to you Living with Hope. 9 days of transformation and empowerment, starting on the 1st to 9th December 2023, 6:30 p.m. each night, live in all Seventh-day Adventist churches and also on Hope Channel and its social media handles. Share the word, tell a colleague, invite a friend. Living with Hope, 9 days of transformation and empowerment.
Welcome back. Welcome back. So I have a few questions here. Let's delve with the questions and then. So I have Eden. He says, is it realistic to say businesses should not engage in giving out monies for timely service in Ghana when the company collapses? So we are talking about corruption, bribery. So the question is simple. In Ghana, the possibility of your company going down if you don't give someone some money is very high. And ethically, someone will say it's wrong. His question is it realistic to say that someone shouldn't give money? Ine, have you given money before?
No, please.
Oh, Jai, like, what if you sitting there, so okay, don't say that. but what do you think about it?
I would think that it is the kind of money, I won't describe it as bribery, but maybe lobbying, facilitation. Lobbying, facilitation, all the other words, but not bribery.
But do you think companies will survive if they don't give these little tips out?
To be very real with you, I think that there are certain services that you may have to do, not bribe, lobby for. I don't know whether you want
bribe them.
Please lobby for.
So you agree with it then?
I don't think that it is very realistic not in Ghana alone, but everywhere else, because there are sometimes that people are going to even bid for contracts and things. You see things like facilitation and lobbying. What monies do you think those things are? What monies do you think those things are? So it may not be realistic to say that there should not be anything like that. It's about how you see it and the name you give to it and how you account for it.
A sin called, we can say a sin, whichever name you call it.
I mean, and this is actually in low and high levels.
Yeah.
You listen to the interview when the appointment of the IGP and all of those, the revelations that were coming out. Yeah. So before you get the big deals, a lot must happen.
And here we were thinking of those ministerial positions. You might as well start bribing now.
Because we'll be deceiving ourselves if we think that nothing like facilitation or lobbying exists. And we are in a real world.
Be engaged in it?
Yes, we are in a real world.
So we are in the world, but not of the world.
We are in a real world.
Anita,
we are not saying we are of the world.
Let me ask the pastor. We are in the world, but not of the world. So shouldn't we be practicing what the world is practicing?
I want to take a different approach to it. You see, let's get to the root cause of this. How did we actually come this far? That someone will be asking, is it realistic that if you don't pay your way, you can't get certain business deals? How do we get there? Because we had opportunity day one to correct it, we did not. Then day two, we had opportunity, we did not. Day three, and now it has become the norm that you have to always pay your way before public officials will do their work. Before business contract that you are so competent and qualified to get will be given to you. I mean, it has become so rampant, and it appears society is fighting it sometimes with pretense.
You're not interested in fighting.
The one who fights is the one who goes and bribe. Maybe he bribed to fight. So I mean, in our own personal space, we will try our best to stick to ethical principles of doing business. The question of whether it's realistic, would you really survive business if you don't pay your way through? It's a very important question.
Because I know of international companies that folded up because of that. We're not interested in paying any. And it got to a point in time, one of my friends was, Anita, we can't survive. We are leaving.
Yeah, I think a lot of those things are common in African countries because of our level of development. Those nations develop by mathematical principles. 1 + 1 is 2. Like Ghana, we want the 1 + 1 to give us 3. And that is our problem.
It's 2 plus the one you'll be giving to the minister.
It will be 10.
All right. Suway by say, I'm dealing with a company which states one thing and does another. I don't trust them. What should I do?
If you don't trust them, don't deal with them. You know, in business, trust is very important.
Sometimes you are in it already. Money has exchanged hands. The contract underway.
No, so try to, you know, would you want to continue till the end and realize that they are really not worthy of trust and all will go wrong, or you want to stop there and take everything that you've lost back? So I oftentimes advise people that one of the things you should consider in hiring anybody, a lawyer, a business, you want to engage them, do you trust them enough with the service you want? If you don't trust them, don't give it to them.
If you don't trust them, but the person is the most effective person. Effective at doing their job, but in terms of trust, not trustworthy.
Okay, then you are not trusting well. Yes, it means you are not trusting. You are not looking at competence as trustworthy virtue. Is the effectiveness trustworthy? If it's not effective, cannot deliver as he promised. What is there to trust in it? What is the point in delivering something I want today, 2 weeks after, and you've done it so well, but I needed it today?
Yeah.
So if you don't trust the company, it's always safer for you not to deal with them. There are companies you can trust.
Also, verifications that should you try to abrogate the contract, what things when they call there'll be verifications. There'll be.
Yeah, so I mean, it comes down to the terms of the contract. If there are room to terminate it, you can actually request to terminate
the room, if you do go ahead, you know the repercussions will be, or you have to pay a penalty, a fine. Do you?
Yeah.
Or you should find your way around them. I don't know. You should massage them and.
No, I don't think you should massage it. You know, truth will always stand at the end of the day. Truth will stand. It will stand.
God will judge.
Even if it takes so long. Even if it takes so long. I can tell you this. Truth will always stand.
God
Truth will always stand, though. I tell you. Even if it is, strategically buried and hidden, it will always stand.
I thought that I was on the same school of thought as I became a lawyer. And I realized that it's really the truth. What is that? A senior lawyer said, "Your truth, my truth, the truth." So which truth are we talking about?
Good question.
All right. We have Atta. He says, are there any benefits when a person with disabilities is engaged by a company? What are the other corporate social responsibilities of an organization for persons with? I think we've discussed that already.
Yes.
Yeah, so then we have on Life's Journey with Ellen. Ellen is saying hello to us. Hello, Ellen.
Hello, Ellen.
Oyedi says, hey, you say, Nine Inkumza Sapon, you look good, sis. And you speak beautifully as well.
Thank you.
That voice. Oyedi, Oba Obema. You better be a girl, Mama Vivian, your kudos senior. Oh, Mama V, hello. Pauline Anaman. That's my buddy, Godwin, and my smart colleague, Nene.
Yes, my buddy.
Well done. You know
yes,
her.
Pauline, yes, Pauline.
Yeah. She's my church member.
Oh, great.
Akumeni Francis, I have MTN Vodafone. Really? Akumeni or Tom Vodafone? Esther Ufosohene says, very enlightening conversation from two of my favorite lawyers. Well done, Godwin and Nene. Hey, Esther, it's a good to know if you're going to make a Hey, you shouldn't be Esther. Atakwacho says, wonderful convo, kudos. Stephanie is saying, Anita, I'm loving what you guys are doing. Please keep it up. It's not easy, is it? To really be in the world and of the world. We talk about business ethics. This is the way to go. You know this is the right thing to do. But should you do it, your company will collapse. That's the standard. Do you do it?
But you have to be ethical in your operations. Let me tell you why.
Yeah.
So we see that now the community is becoming very, very interested in the kind of companies you deal with. So let me ask you a simple question. When you get an offer from a company, they are offering you, say, $25,000 per month.
$25,000 per month?
Yes, per month.
I'll do.
You'll be given
Don't ask
accommodation.
any other thing, I'll do.
Great. Have you seen the kind
Don't
of
ask
situation?
anything, no. I'll do.
Have you seen the kind of situation you find yourself in? And you find that somewhere outside Ghana, most people will even go and consider how the company is perceived.
Yeah.
But in Ghana, because of the situation we find ourselves in, we don't even have time to go and ask any questions. Anytime a friend tells you that I have a new job, okay, how much are they offering? That's all you need. But I am believing that we are getting to a space where even employees will start questioning the modus operandi of the companies that they agree to work with.
Yeah.
Okay, because consumers are doing that.
Yeah. As a consumer, I'm
Yes,
doing
you
it, but
remember.
as an
You remember
employee-
that there was this fine by the EU on Google.
Yeah.
Because Google asked one of their AdSense or something of that they should ask their consumers to sign a contract to prohibit other search engines from advertising or sending advertisements to them. And they were fined, big. So if consumers are doing that, in Ghana we don't have a very strong consumer protection group anyways.
We
But
thought we did.
yes, but you see
Everyone
that,
is looking up on themselves, though.
oh yes, that's what's happening. But if elsewhere consumers are doing it, and in Ghana consumers are becoming very, very savvy. So you can imagine if all of us, so the consumers, the investors, because the investors I know are very strong at it. Before they invest in your company, they want to be sure that you're not doing any underhand dealings and that you're not doing anything that will later bring any social or legal consequences. So they are at it. Now, if the employees add up, that's the talent available add up, the consumers add up, businesses will be forced to act ethically.
Right.
Because, like you said, I won't work with a company I don't trust. I won't work with a company I think doesn't have good reputation. I won't work with a company that doesn't have integrity. Because it means they can even ask me to do things that are not morally right to make them survive.
Yeah. And we know companies who do that.
Exactly.
We know companies who do that.
So we will get there, but the journey is quite far. But as a business, you must, because I know companies have code of ethics all over the place, even including the civil service.
Maybe I'll be.
Everywhere. So it tells you that companies are taking this ethics thing.
It's on paper.
Yes, this ethics thing on paper seriously, and we have to put it into practice. Very necessary. You can't say you're a business and you can't do that.
I think I understand. And now I understand the saying when the guy just said, when you are hungry, you don't ask, what food are you giving me?
Exactly.
It's usually when you are satisfied is when you are picking with food.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So Africa, we practically are hungry. So anything goes.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll get full and then we'll start being specific about the
But
food
you
we
see, let me
want.
give you another example that Ghanaians, we are waking up. You remember this company that was shut down by the EPA? A tomato factory.
Okay, no.
It's a Happy Sunshine tomato factory in Kuntunse that the community members demonstrated and said that their operations were affecting their health. Yes, and they were operating illegally. And EPA had to shut down in 2017 or so.
Okay.
So it tells you that people
I
are...
heard of that company, that food restaurant.
They used to produce, these people used to Lavon's tomato puree.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and they had to shut down because the community says, no, you are killing us slowly. So we have power, actually.
I think we're getting there.
Yeah.
We're getting there. All right, so someone sent me a message, a long one, but I will try and summarize it. Kezia is saying, super. Guys, you are doing wonderfully well. Belinda says she loves what we are doing. Evans is saying 100%. 100% for me, who I didn't go 100% for. And Otete too is giving us a thumbs up. He said, "Chai, I can't miss this final episode." Yes. And then Stephanie is saying, "You guys are doing wonders. You are changing me already." Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah.
All right, so our final words.
Change will come.
Our final words. Let me start from Nine. Final words.
Yes, so I think that the moment businesses start to operate without conscience and without any values, society will die. And I say that because companies operate in society. They use employees to operate, they get the investors from the society, and then even the employees, the products as they sell, it is still the society. So when they start operating without ethics, who will be left to even work with them? If they don't help us to educate our needy, who will be left? Who will they employ in the future? There will be no one. It is very, very necessary.
I'm being converted.
Yeah, it's very, very necessary that our companies act with ethics. They act on good ethics and they give back what society has given them. because we have to move past these economic responsibilities and legal responsibilities where companies do what is right, because if they don't, the law will come after them. If the law doesn't come after you, when you sleep, do you sleep well at night?
So you're going to say all this you said in your local language?
Problem.
You have under 30 seconds.
Hey, okay. Lo wakio. Ke ungenichum alo moniche ungenichwe monicho ni nyanyanichum. Alo ke company ngenichu yo. Esa no here ne onye mime na benoko nyoko mengana besika pona kama ya suku. Nyoko mengene hena mahuopo abeheku. Esa no luamu no mu mechopa ni nenya. Alo no company yo ne bua mechope ne mena benye ma ya suku na aha mesika na ka ya school pay a school fees ke no fia no ha me. Ne ja no ko nga decision ko take ne ma affect ni na ngo community of me. Esa ne oye kan decision ni take one ke iya wosin. Manyema wosin lo alo ni nge pe yo ehi se chapi komo ma pe se be janko ohia we ne community o ne wa community ko be no manye ka machu ni ho lo esa ne wo chope wa bo wa he ke company ni wange operate wa he kan wa nyome ni wange operate nga wa gbime sa nge he wam ni wa na me no wa ka me ni chuda nye chumi.
That was a good one. I didn't understand anything she said. But if she didn't say it's right, please send me a message because God one.
Anyway, now that I know I'm going to say it in local language, I will say something short.
Oh my God, correct. Yes.
So we've been saying that all along we all believe and have always hold on to the belief that the business of the business is to do business. But there is, we should also now be aware that beyond doing business, we have to help society. Society and a company are interdependent on each other. The people who come to work for you and get you the profit or the business are from the society. The suppliers come from there. The environment you put your company as part of the community. Community talks about people, and the environment talks about outside your company. If there are no people there, what is there? The trees are there. The land is there. Take care of them. Devote part of your earnings to support the good of the society. I mean, that is a worthy cause. I guess your reward will be here on earth and in heaven as well. Okay, now let me tell my people in my local dialect.
Yes.
Okay, ke mi ato modo gbenami efie nami enye glomi le konye be emia me ke le business wom alo dom le company adoma ehia be mi adupa be yok be the society amchi alo du common chi mina be du common na du de le mi ape no wo me na mi ko video be company a mi ko de mi akokpe de hi have du common chi mina ameoke jilao malo shi okenye ofan so le duama mi kpeda wonchi nenye be amododo ke vatofi ke o company le manua kpeda government nchi na government na tenwa we nenye be mi wona na ma mi hoji sebe anyu na mi kata eduama anyu e mi akpe do wa ha ayingogbe akpe. That's only one I heard. Yes.
But you, please, just send it to me. Okay. All right. So we have Ya Amweniwa. She says she's watching us live from Queens, New York. So North Bronx, Ghana SDA Church. Hello. So there's a final episode for season 3, and so season 4 will be next year. Hopefully the first quarter. Hopefully we'll start within the first quarter, and then we'll be bringing you. This time we'll be looking at the employer-employee relationship. All that thing that has to do with employer-employee. That we'll be doing next season. And we always come to you. Expect the best from us. Everyone we brought here, they are the best in their field, and we are grateful for all of them. So. I guessed all of you, we are thankful from season 1 to today. Our viewers, without you, the comments and the way amateur trauma many have heard, we'll try and do everything fast. Our team, our technical team, Charlie, by the time you are here, they are already set and done and waiting. This job, if it's not easy. So please, when you're saying a prayer, say it for all of them. And they are young men and women, so that they can get money and Joseph Bewarent them. So all I will say is, myself, Anita Delight, my sign interpreter, Atanya Meche, we are grateful and we are thankful for being with us this season 3. God willing, season 4 will be here, and who knows, we'll have more fun. Please stay safe, and as I always say, God bless.